Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, is it possible to reverse your type 2 diabetes? We'll be talking to a leading national physician who's going to be talking about, yes, absolutely, and he's got the patent. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Tens of millions of Americans have type 2 diabetes, and many of them are on a cocktail of medicines just to take care of that, and that can create other problems in your body. To talk about that today, Dr. Jeff Hockings, he is a leading national expert, and you actually have a patent to reverse type 2 diabetes. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we started doing type 2 diabetes reversal about 12 years ago, and I did about 400 seminars around the world in 9 years, basically perfecting our system so we could predictably reverse type 2 diabetes. Once that happened, we applied for a patent in May of 2017, and we just got patent approval last year. So it took us 3 years and 4 months to get the approval. So now we have the only patented type 2 diabetes reversal system in the world. So we're pretty proud of that.
And you told me that this whole journey for you actually started with the loss of your aunt.
Yeah, my Auntie Lily passed away from diabetes complications when she was only 34 years old. So I was 18 when that happened. So that's what sort of set me on this path of wanting to develop a program like this to reverse diabetes, because I saw how devastating that was to our family. And she left behind my 2 small cousins that were 10 and 8 years old to be raised without their mom. So this disease is no joke. It will kill you, and it's not pretty when it does it. But the great news is we can actually reverse it with our system.
Why aren't more people talking about this?
Well, again, in medical school, medical physicians aren't trained how to reverse type 2 diabetes. They're trained how to manage it with medications. So literally 99% of diabetics that are out there watching this, they're literally being managed by their meds. And they have no idea it's reversible because their doctors don't even know. So that's why we got the patent now. Now we're doing shows like this to try and get the word out literally worldwide, so people finally realize you can reverse this disease and get off these medications.
And if you're taking too many medications, what does that do to your body?
Well, it's crazy, Jeff, because the #1 cause of kidney failure in this country is caused by diabetes. And the #1 reason the kidneys fail is because of all the medications diabetics are taking. So these medications are not vitamins. So the more you take, the more toxicity is in your body and the more stress it puts on your kidneys and your liver. So that's why. So the less meds you're on, the better. And we understand that sometimes medications are necessary to save somebody's life, but you're really not designed to be taking medications like the diabetic meds every day for 25, 30, 40 years. Yeah. There's going to be consequences, and the consequences are kidney damage.
And you can tell how passionate Dr. Jeff is. Do you feel like you've found the cure for cancer and you're just screaming it from the top of
Oh my gosh, that's the crazy thing, yeah. So it took us so long to get the patent, so obviously that gives us the credibility we need. And the other cool thing is last week we just got a third-party study done that was done by 3 medical physicians proving the effectiveness of our program. So now we have a third-party study and we have the patent, the only one in the world. So now we're ready to launch this thing international, because now we have all that evidence people need to know that this is the real deal, that we can actually help them reverse this disease.
And he really is on a mission. You've done countless interviews in the last couple months, and we found a nice video from Channel 33 here in Dallas. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
Yes, we're focusing our attention on sugar and hidden sugars in the food you eat. It's especially important for those of you who deal with and try to maintain your lifestyle with diabetes. It's particularly difficult. Dr. J. Murray Hockings is the founder of Help Your Diabetes, and he believes, and the science backs it up, that you can reverse type 2 diabetes. He's joining us now with more on his research and his work and what he's finding. And there is a distinction to be made here, Dr. Hockings, that we spoke about before we came on air, and that is there's a real difference between reversing type 2 diabetes and curing it. Explain the distinction for people.
Yeah, well, there is no cure for type 2 diabetes, because that would mean if you got through a program, you could go back to eating all the bad foods and you'd be okay, like a non-diabetic. So that doesn't happen. So there's no cure, but you can reverse it. So think of it as putting it into remission or putting it dormant. So once you go through the proper program and the diabetes is reversed, you have to continue eating the right way for the rest of your life to maintain that reversal. And there's overwhelming evidence that it's reversible.
Okay, so by reversible, does that mean that people become less dependent on some of the medications that are given and some of the insulin that's given, or they become completely not dependent? Does it depend on the patient?
The definition of reversing diabetes means your A1C and blood sugar are normal and you're taking no diabetic medications, including insulin. And that's what we do.
Jeff, I know that there are people watching this right now and they have type 2 diabetes and they just say, well, this sounds too good to be true. It can't be true. If it was true, my doctor would have told me about this. Why don't more doctors know?
Yeah, well, again, it just simply goes back to what their training is. And I like to explain when I do seminars is that if you compare a dentist to an optometrist, right? They're both doctors, but you would never go to your dentist to have your teeth work or your eyes worked on, right?
Yes.
You never go to your eye doctor for your teeth. I mean, they're different specialties. So dentists, even though they're doctors, they have a very limited focus on what they treat and what they help, just like a dentist does. So it's the same thing, okay? So eyes, teeth, think of what your doctor knows about diabetes and what I know. It's like dentist, optometrist.
Yes.
They're trained in med school to diagnose your disease and then prescribe medications. If those medications don't work, they send you to a specialist, which just puts you on more medications. Yes. That's really what the whole essence of medicine is all about. It's diagnosis, medications, and then sometimes surgery. Okay, we're in the reversal business where we want to help somebody change their lifestyle, which means we show them how to eat better, what foods they can eat and not eat, what they can drink and not drink. We provide nutritional supplements to take and exercise recommendations. And when they do those three things the way we recommend, their blood sugar starts coming down, and now their primary doctor is able to wean them off these medications. So instead of having to increase the dosage, now their doctor is able to decrease it.
Wow.
And that's what's exciting. So the doctors are happy when their patients change the lifestyle. They just aren't trained how to do it. And that's what people don't understand. So.
And tell us about COVID. Did that impact this at all?
Oh my gosh. So here's the thing. The CDC came out about 5-6 months ago saying that literally anybody who dies from COVID, 92% of them had at least one underlying health condition. Okay, so only 8% really died of just COVID. Now, of those 92% that died of an underlying health condition, number one underlying health condition is diabetes. The number two is heart disease, and number three is kidney damage, kidney failure. And guess what? Heart disease and kidney damage are related to diabetes. So really, almost everybody, the majority of people who died from COVID, the biggest underlying condition is actually diabetes or diabetes-related issues. So there's a huge connection between diabetes and COVID. So again, if someone's watching this and they have type 2 diabetes and you're scared about COVID, they should literally work on getting their diabetes reversed, because that will definitely help you prevent getting COVID, or if you have it, prevent you from actually having one of those severe complications like death. You don't want that.
Well, and you have a very popular podcast. It's called The Best of the Best. And you and I are both big fans of Les Brown, one of the most renowned speakers on the planet. And you're actually working with him. So let's go ahead and roll a clip from his show.
I'm incredibly excited to interview my next guest. Unless you've been living on a deserted island, you've definitely heard of the iconic Les Brown. I could take the entire show to introduce him properly, but instead, I'll give you some highlights and get right to the interview. Les and his twin brother were raised by a single mom. He eventually got into public radio. He ran for election in the Ohio House of Representatives and won, was a host on PBS, was a member of the Peabody Awards Board of Jurors, is a recipient of the National Speakers Association Council of Peers Award for Excellence, and is also the recipient of the Toastmasters International Golden Gavel. He's a proud father of 9 children and 4 great-grandchildren. He is an author and the best motivational speaker I've ever had the pleasure of hearing. I've seen Les speak live over a dozen times, and boy, oh boy, he can bring it from the stage like no one else I know. And anytime I'm feeling a little down, I listen to one of his speeches. Now, God has gifted him with the ability to inspire millions of people around the world, including me. He has a gigantic heart, an infectious laugh, and is definitely the best of the best. I am honored that he is here today. Mr. Les Brown, welcome to Best of the Best.
Thank you so much. It's Jeffrey. It's a pleasure to be with you. I call you Jeffrey, the diabetes assassin, but that's another show. That's another conversation. You've been very helpful and a blessing to me. And I just want to say thank you.
Well,
it's
I'm glad
great to
you're
be
here.
here with you.
Wow. And Les is a big hero of mine, and I know he is of yours as well. How did your relationship start with Les?
Yeah, well, a mutual friend introduced us, and it was interesting because then I found out that Les actually has type 2 diabetes. So then he actually joined our program. And literally, when I spoke to him a few days ago, he's literally off of all of his insulin now. He's doing great, and he's just a really good ambassador now to our program, which is kind of interesting how, he's helped me so much. Now we're able to help him. So it's pretty cool how it's come full circle.
You gave the world a gift, because hopefully we get many more decades of Les Brown and his
Absolutely.
inspiration. We're going to put up the website so people can learn more, reverseyourdiabetes.com. Tell us about the program. How does it work?
Yeah, so when people go to that website, we have basically a free video training there where they can actually just watch a video presentation of me doing one of my little seminars. And that explains exactly how our program works, of showing you what to eat, not eat, the supplements we provide, exercise recommendations. We provide 24/7, 7 days a week support with a support doctor to hold them accountable and coach them through their lifestyle change. And the cool thing is too, Jeff, is we actually guarantee results. So when someone joins our program, as long as they follow it as directed, if they're not off of all their diabetic meds at the end of our program, they get a 100% refund plus $500 just for trying it.
Wow.
So that's how confident we are that we can reverse type 2 diabetes for anybody watching. So yeah, the website, going there, it's again free training, it explains everything. And if they're interested after watching the training, they get to have a consultation with one of our consultants where they can do a full assessment and find out exactly what kind of program that person needs.
You have countless stories of people you've helped. It's got to feel so good when somebody comes back to you after being on the program for a few months and, like Les, is suddenly off, medication.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, every day we're getting testimonies from patients where the neuropathy's gone away, where they thought the tingling was never going to go away, and they're afraid of an amputation, kidneys improving, blood pressure getting better and off the meds, vision problems going away. So it's just amazing to see the changes. Then, of course, energy, increased sex drive, all these other things that are related to that. They just feel like themselves again, because it's cool when their doctors are able to wean them off of all of their meds. Not just diabetic meds, but their blood pressure, cholesterol, neuropathy, acid reflux, gout. It's nice when they get them off of all of that. So getting a clean sweep is really what we look for, where they were on 5 or 6 meds. After a program, they're on 0.
Wow.
That's what's awesome.
Well, I always joke that the only thing more popular than 7-minute abs is 6-minute abs. Is it tough? Is it something that anybody can do?
Yeah, it is, because the biggest reason, 2 reasons why our program is effective long term, because this is a lifestyle change forever, is that it's not a diet. So we give you a list of foods you can eat and not eat. As long as you're eating from the approved list, you eat as much food as you need to every day to stay satisfied. So people are never hungry. That's why most other programs fail, because they starve people to death and you can't maintain that for the rest of your life. And the second thing is that we actually have supplements we give them initially, which helps eliminate the cravings. Because if you don't eliminate the cravings for a diabetic, they'll always go back to that. Now they're just basing it on their willpower, and they'll always fail. So when it's not a diet, so they're never hungry, and you get rid of the cravings, that's what makes this successful for anybody, as long as they're willing to follow it. So it's pretty awesome.
We got about a minute left, so I want you to talk directly to the viewer who's watching this, and that they're tempted. They're like, yes, but is it for me? Can I do this? And I think about, their children and grandchildren and how many more years they can have with them if they take your program.
Yeah, well, again, obviously, if you're a diabetic, you know what I'm talking about. Your condition has progressed since you got diagnosed. You're probably on more medications now than when you first got diagnosed. So your condition's getting worse. The meds are getting higher and higher. And I know you're not feeling like you want to. And you know that this disease, in the back of your mind, this thing can kill you. You probably know somebody who's had a severe complication like blindness, kidney failure, amputation, stroke, all of that. So I'm telling you, this is reversible. We have the only patent in the world that can reverse it. There's overwhelming evidence that this is a reversible condition, and we have the solution. And the cool thing is, we guarantee results. You have nothing to lose but your diabetes. So just go to the website, watch the free training. If it sounds like it's something you want to do, have a consultation, join the program. And you can literally, within 2 to 6 months, be off of all of your meds and have this disease reversed once and for all. And believe me, your family will be glad you did this because they're worried about you. Whether they tell you that or not, your family's scared because they've seen people who have died from this disease or become a burden to their family, and they don't want that to happen to you. So just go to the website and check it out. It's a free training. You have nothing to lose. So.
Wow, I got chills. So you can just hear your passion. So thank you so much for the gift that you're giving the planet. We're going to end with the website one more time, reverseyourdiabetes.com. Dr. Jeff Hawkins, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.